Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Web Express training for our new platform that we're rolling out. We're really overdue for an update, and we are really excited about sharing this new platform with you. Some of the things will seem familiar, so you can kind of rest assured that if you're looking for something, you can find it here. And then it's not an exact one-to-one correlation. So I want to start off with going through what the admin toolbars look like and where they are. When you first log into a site, you are on your user profile page, and you can see the system status, which it's always a good sign when it says all systems operational. But you could also see notification that maybe the events calendar is being updated or something like that. So you can always see, other types of information there if it's pertinent to the platform. This black toolbar is that main editing toolbar. So click on Manage. These are the main admin sections of the site. So we have a section for content, a section for structure, configuration, people, reports, and help. And the help functions the same way as it did before. So when you click on help, you'll see kind of the top answers that people might have been searching for. But you can also use this little search field if you wanted to search for like tutorials on images. You would see all of our tutorials for working with images. Right now, this is still linked to the D7 platform, but it will be updated soon to work with, point to the D10 tutorials. Also, if you don't see what you're looking for here, you can click on that Ask tab, and then you can certainly just shoot us an email, ask us a question, and that way someone will be able to get back with you shortly and answer your question. We're going to start off by adding content to the site. So there's a couple of ways to do that. When I hover over that content tab, I can click Add Content, and then it shows me a list of all the different content types. Or I can click on Shortcuts and then click Add Content, and I'll go to the Add Content admin page, and then I can see all the different types of content that we have. And then you can also you can read a little basic description of kind of the use case for that content type. So we're going to start off adding a basic page. So click on Basic Page. And we're going to start creating and filling out this form to create our new page. Open up your Training Assets folder. Open up that Basic Page folder. And there is a text document, page 1, and just open that up as well. So we're just going to copy and paste from here. Our title is going to be page 1. And then we're just going to copy all the content for the body of the page. And then once our content is pasted in there, we need to go back in and structure our page for accessibility. When you click into a line for to make it a heading, you see we have a couple of headings in here. Go up to the editor where it says paragraph, and then click the down arrow and select heading 2. We put everything in reading order or outline order. the page title is a heading 1. So everything when you start on the page, the very next heading will be a heading 2. So we have another heading 2 further on down the page. And then we have a heading 3. One of the other things to think about this is you can't skip headings. So this will, this does not work with people using assistive technology. They have to have things in outline order. So if you do a heading 2, and then a heading 4, what they'll do is they'll look for heading 2, heading 2, heading 3, then, and it'll say no heading 3s. So they won't think that there's any other headings below that. So always go in outline order and then don't skip any headings. So we do have a list on this page. And from previous trainings that I've done, I know that when I make this a list, it only bullets one item and I have to clean it up. So I'm going to talk you through that process. So I'm going to select the whole list and then go up to the editor and select bulleted list. Now, when I do that, that's like I told you, only one of the lines gets a bullet. So I'm going to put my cursor in front of that second line, hit backspace, and then enter or return again. And that's just creating a clean line. So each one of these items gets a bullet in front of it. So I'm looking at my content now, and everything has been structured for accessibility. Now I want to go in and create some emphasis with my text. So to do that, I can select what content I want to emphasize, which is the first 2 sentences on this page. And I can go over to the styles dropdown and select lead, hero, supersize. So how they go is lead is a little bit larger than your default text. Hero is larger than lead, and supersize is really big. There are some rules around using that small size, and the small text size is for captions, footnotes, things like that. If you're viewing on your desktop or laptop or whatever, if you're viewing your site and you're like, oh, this text is too big, I'm going to make everything small. Again, it goes against what you're supposed to be doing for accessibility. So you don't want to designate content that doesn't fall into those 2 categories of footnotes or caption with that small text. Or what's going to happen is you have people coming in on mobile devices that are like, who formatted this page? This text is so tiny, you know, so don't make it hard for people, or hard for people that have glasses that need to like, oh my gosh, is there something wrong with my prescription? It's like so small. So no, anyway, once you style this with the lead style, your text isn't going to change. But how you know that you've applied that style is you can look up into the editor and it'll tell you what styles are applied. So the lead style is now applied to my text. If I click down into another paragraph, it just says styles, so I know it's still the default style. Click into heading 2, tells me heading 2. So that's the way to see what styles have been applied. And then also, if you need to remove that lead style, again, you can click within the paragraph, because this is paragraph formatting for the styles, and then just go back into the styles and uncheck that or unclick it, and it will remove that style. So I'm going to put it back. And then now that we've got our page and our content all set, we need to think about where we want this page to go in our navigation. So we're going to go over to this sidebar, this configuration sidebar. I want to show you a few things about this. there is a little toggle up here at the top that you can toggle. It collapses it or expands it. So be aware that that's there. And then also you can come down, and each one of these you can expand. So I'm going to expand that menu settings so that I can put a check mark where next to provide a menu link. I will double check that that's my link title. And then I can go in and double check that that's the parent link. And we don't need to worry about weight right now, but just be aware of where that is, just in case you may need to do it, use it some point. But this is how you can change how it shows up in the order that your pages show up. I think that there is an easier way to do it where you can just simply drag and drop your pages to the order of where you'd like them to appear, and I'll show you that later. There are some other options that we can go through. Social sharing. If you don't have an image in your page, but you would like to add an image that would a custom image that would appear when people share this page on social media like Twitter or Teams or something like that, you can click add media and then just add an image that will be the thumbnail image for this page. You also have scheduling options, so you can schedule this to be published on a specific date. And then you have your authoring information. Once you save the page, you could go in and change the authoring information to be any one of the users that has an edit my own or user permission that you would like to maybe edit this page as well, but they wouldn't be able to edit any other page that they're not an author on. All right, once I've gone through this configuration sidebar and I'm happy with all the configurations that I've made, and I haven't changed anything except provide a menu link, I'm just going to now scroll over and click save. And we get confirmation that our page has been saved. Now you'll see this lead text has been, the lead style has been applied to our text. Our headings are correct, and our list is okay. So let's now add an image to this page. So any page that you come to on your website, you'll see this editing toolbar. So right now we're viewing the page, but we can click on edit and go back in. And now we're going to add an image. When you add an image, you need to think about where you want that image to be. I'm going to have my image right here where it says Lorem Ipsum. I want to make sure that I don't add my image where I have a heading applied, because that means then the image will also have that same heading tag applied to it, and that's not good for accessibility. So right here where it says Lorem is where I want to have my cursor. And then adding images, we do that in the editor. There is an insert media button. It has a little picture, and then it has that music note. And so click there. When you insert media, you have a choice of adding an image or a video. The image is the default. And then there are several sections to this page. You can choose files, you can search for files, or you can view files that have already been added, which we don't have any yet. So let's click on Choose Files. And in your Training Assets folder, open up the Media Library folder. And we want to insert this image of the instructor lecturing. So click that image and click Open. And before we can insert the image into our page, we need to make sure we've added alternative text for accessibility. So this is a teacher, professor lecturing, and I'm going to use lowercase lecturing. That really is about all the description you really need. You don't need to go into more detail than that. And the next thing we need to pay attention to is we need to pay attention to the focal point, this little plus sign right here on the image. And we want to click on the part of the image that we don't ever want to be cropped out. So if you use this image where maybe it's this is a rectangular image, but you want to use it where it's a square image. So you don't want to crop out her face. So I want to put that little focal point next to her face. And if we decide to use that a square image size, we're good to go. Also notice that you have this caption section here where you can add a caption. That's optional. There are certain places where the caption will always show, like when you're using an editor, if you use insert the image into any kind of editor and have applied a caption will show up. If you use that image in, say, maybe a block, like a content grid or a content list block, the caption will not display. So once we've added all our alternative text, scroll down and click Save. And we've saved all that information about the image. Our image is now in our media library where we can select it and insert it. So click Insert Selected. And now the image comes into our page. So in order to further format this image, we can click on this image. And now you can see all the different formatting tools. So we have, we can link the media. We can override the alternative text if we need to correct it or add some different alternative text. And then also this is the view mode, the size. So we want to select small. And then now we want to move on to how we want this, the alignment and the text wrap. So let's align it right and wrap the text. And there we have our image. I want to also draw your attention. You may notice that there several times when you're working with images or other things in the insert editor or something like that, blocks, you'll see this little insert paragraph before block. Or if you scroll down, you'll see it below block. And so that's a really handy feature to know about. If you're going back into a page and you're like, hey, I want to add another line below this or above it, it's very simple to do. You don't have to try and figure out like where to place your cursor to do that. So once you've configured your image, just scroll down and click Save. And so now we have our image in there. Are there any questions about formatting your content for accessibility, headings, lists, styling or emphasizing any content of your text content, or adding an image? And feel free just to unmute since we're such a small group. Okay, then let's practice this process one more time and add another page. So in the shortcuts toolbar, click Add Content and select Basic Page again. Now in our training assets folder, there's page 1, there's page 2. Guess what? We're doing page 2 next. So type in page 2 and then open up that page 2 text document. Again, we have some lorem ipsum that we're going to enter. We need to configure our headings. And then in that text document, it says insert media, collaborative learning. Okay, let's go find that image. I'm going to, before I even click on insert media, I'm going to go ahead and just place my cursor in where it says lorem. And then go over and click the insert media button. We're going to upload a new image to our media library. So click choose files. And then in that media library folder, choose this collaborative learning image. Click open. Wait for your internet. There we go. All right, let's give it some alternative text. So these are students. Looks like they're doing some electronic work. I'm just going to say students doing a class project. If I did, you know, an electronics work or something like that, I'd be adding more keywords. You don't want to, you know, you want to have a clear description, not like keywords just thrown in there. It needs to make sense. You need to have a noun and a verb explaining who is doing what. But that is also something that you might want to consider. If it's working for your department, you might want to say something more specific than like a class project. They are doing something that I am not quite capturing in my alternative text. But anyway, my focal point looks good. I'm going to click on save. And then now I can add this image to our page 2. So click insert selected. And then now I just want to format this. So this is the default size. And I'd like to make it focal point wide. And let's see how that looks. All right, there we go. So I'm just going to leave it at the top of the page and leave it in this focal point wide image style. And then I need to add this to our navigation. So I'm going to expand the menu settings, click provide a menu link, double check how everything looks. And one of the nice things is that you can give it a title of page 2, and that will show up when you are on that page. But if you happen to have like a longer page title and you want to just shorten it here, you could actually just shorten it here in this menu link title. So, you know, if I wanted to, I could just go in and put the number 2 there instead of the word 2, which isn't a good example. You should always do words as your menu link. But anyway, it should be in the parent link, the main navigation. And I'm going to scroll down and click save. The reason why I did number 2 is now when I show up, they're in the wrong order. So if I had done capital 2 with the word 2, they would have been in the correct order. And I did a number 2 so that I can show you how to reorder the pages. So in that shortcuts toolbar, there is a main menu link. So let's click on that. And here's where you'll see all the pages of our site. And what you'll notice that there is this little move icon. It says if you hover over it, it'll say drag to reorder. So that's what you simply can do. So if I want to take page 1 and drag it up so it goes home, page 1, page 2, I can simply do that. When all of these are in this same level as the home page, they are all on that main navigation. If I choose to take one of these pages and then pull it over to the right and nest it under another page, then it becomes a child page. And so this is how you can start building out sections of your site by creating some child pages. I don't want to do that. We don't have that many pages in our site, so I want them all on this main navigation level, this main top level. So once I've done that, it gives me a warning that says you have unsaved changes. It also highlights this to a yellow color. So whenever you see that within the platform, you'll know that that means you need to save something. So click down and click save. Now our order is correct. And whenever you're on one of these admin pages in the platform, you can click back to site and it takes you back to the page you were on. So I click back to site. I was on page 2 before, and here I am. I can see the menu then is the way I want it. And then now as I look at my page, I want to draw your attention to some text that is not Latin. That is download the chart. So let's upload a chart that we can link in this page. So when we do that, we need to go back over to our content. So click on manage or go back to that main admin toolbar with the main admin links. And then if you hover over content, the temptation is to click on files because you want to upload a file. But the way we need to do this is we need to actually do media. So click on content, go all the way down to media, add media, and document. So that's how you will add a file. That files tab we can look at later, but is just literally a listing of all the files on your site. So there is no add file on that admin page. So media, add media, and document is the path that we want to take. So click on document. And so let's fill out the form for this file. So our name is going to be chart 1. We're going to select that file from our folder, our training assets folder, and there is a files folder. So select chart 1 and click open. And now when you see that your file has been uploaded, you can scroll down and click save. So now we are in the media library. We're looking at the table view and we can see our document is here and we have 2 images. Again, on this admin page, we can add more media. There's an add media button. You can edit any of these that you need to, and we'll come back in and we'll update this chart with a new chart. And I'll show you how to do that. And again, you can filter The filter is pretty ubiquitous on the admin pages for files and blocks and images, things like that. All right, now we want to click on back to site again and take us back to our page 2. And then we want to edit this page. So in the editing toolbar, click on edit. And then select your text. So I'm actually going to change that to a lowercase d. And again, we want to select multiple words, not just one single word. One single word for link text makes it really hard to for people that have mobility issues to click on that and select it sometimes with their mouse, or a lot of times people, if they're on a mobile device, it's really hard to see that just one word has a blue underline and that is a link. So you can, select multiple words and have a larger target and more words to kind of show that it's a link. You never want to, though, highlight a whole sentence. That's always too much text. So just highlight a phrase, and a phrase that is descriptive enough that people know what's going to happen. You never want to do click here because you have no idea if somebody reads that back to you, click here, what that link is going to go to or what's going to happen. So download the chart is our link. Go up to the editor and click on that little link icon. And then when you are linking to content that is on the site, all you need to do is start typing in the name or the title of the content. So our title is Chart 1. You can see it's located in the media library, Chart 1, select that, and then click on the green check mark to save. When you do that, you'll also notice that you might get this little pop-up that has some more formatting tools. So later, if you needed to either edit this link or remove the link, that you had that option as well. So let's click save. Let's test out our link. And here is our chart, sure enough. So back, use the back arrow to go back in your browser. And now I want to show you how you can update that file. So since we have this ability to rotate files, if you know that you have a file that gets updated, per semester, monthly, something like that, for your link text, you can just say, download the class syllabus. And you don't need to say download the fall class syllabus or download the spring class syllabus, so that you have to go edit the text as well every semester. If you make it more generic, you can still update the file, and then you won't have to update the link. So let's go find our file. So we're going to go to Content, Media, Media Library. And here is our file. Again, we can change from the table to the grid view. That's just your preference. I'm going to click on this little pencil icon above the chart so that I can edit it. So now that I'm going to change the chart, instead of calling it Chart 1, I'm just going to retitle that to Monthly Chart. And then whenever you add a file, you'll automatically get this little Replace File section. So click on Choose File and choose Chart 2 to be, I know I did that kind of fast, sorry. choose chart 2 to replace it with. The other thing that you want to make sure you have checked is overwrite original file. This does two things. It keeps the content of your site kind of cleaner. Like this chart 1 will be overwritten, it'll be deleted, and then somebody won't accidentally find it, like it's in some Google search archive, since they've probably, some bot has probably archived it and searched it. So you want to make sure that you overwrite the original file. And also make note of the way to overwrite things is make sure that they are the same file type. So you can overwrite a PDF with another PDF, but you can't overwrite a PDF with a doc file. All right, let's scroll down and click Save. And now our chart has been saved. We can click back to site and then test out the link again. And now our new chart is displaying. Use the back arrow in your browser to go back to your site. And any questions about uploading files, rotating them out, linking to them? All right, hopefully everyone's feeling really comfortable with all that right now. So now I want to jump over and I want to show you some things on where to change this contact information and change the site name if you want to do that. So in configuration, you would go down to the CU Boulder site settings, and changing the site name is under general, and then you'll also see that contact information link there too. But we'll start with general. And I'm not going to change it because I want to leave it as instructor training. But if you want to change that site name, this is where you would do it. I know half of you are on the same training site. So, totally up to you how you want to deal with that. But anyway, once you make any kind of change on any one of these tabs, though, you have to click Save Configuration in order to save those changes. So you can't just like make that change and then jump over to another tab and it'll keep that change. So make sure you click Save Configuration to change the site name if you're going to do that. Now I want you to click on that Contact Info tab, because there are a lot of options that you can do to add contact information in that footer. So what people typically do is just add an email and a phone number. And so you could click on Add Primary Email Address, and you'll notice that there is a label option. So, I'm going to add just like a generic email address, but that could be student services email, this, and then, other inquiries, email this. So you can add several emails if you want to, and give them labels so that people know which email to use for certain inquiries. You can add a primary phone number, and it has those same options as well. So the label or not, you can just add a phone number. And then finally, it says show email and phone number icons in the site footer. So you can check or uncheck that. One of the things that I didn't start with is the very first one. So the very first one is add primary contact information. This one has the full editor. So here's where you could add your address. You could add a Google Map link if you wanted to, things like that. So it's totally up to you how you want to configure your footer information. But once you have it how you want it, you can click on Save Configuration. And so we've saved our site name, our contact information. Let's click back to site and see how that looks. So of course my site name didn't change, but I have that contact information changed down in my footer. So any questions about changing the site name or that contact information or what a label is or the icons? Well, at this point in the training, all right, thank you everybody for the thumbs up. That's really helpful for me. I'd like to take a quick 10-minute break. And what I'd like to do is after that break, we'll come back and we will add some articles, some people, we will format our homepage, and then we will finally talk about how to change the look and the feel or the theme of your site. If you have any specific questions for me personally, like, hey, Emily, on my training site or on my department site, something or other, I'm happy to kind of stay on. I do need to pop out and for like a minute or two, go to the bathroom and I'll come back, but then I'm happy to answer questions and then we'll start back up at 2:28. Okay. Does that sound good? All right. Well, I'll be back in just a few minutes to answer any questions if you have them, and then we'll start back with the training at 2:28. Okay, I am back. I'll just also put that in the chat. There's a question about will we receive a recorded version of this at the end? And yes, that is true, we will. All right, I just want to take a quick count and see who all is back. And if we are all back, we can go ahead and get started just a few minutes earlier. Okay, one person's here. 2, 3, waiting for one more person. All right, we'll just go ahead and wait till time, wait for that one last person to pop back in. So I did put a couple of things in the chat. So I put a link to our tutorials. They are at a different URL. You'll notice that there is the migration how-to articles are here, how to manage your site, create and edit content, and best practices. And then each one of these tutorials also has a link to our documentation site, so you can see a demo of what that content looks like. And so this is that documentation site. that you can also look and see what, newsletters, forums, alumni content, all those different things look like. Also, in your training assets folder, you'll notice that there are things like an FAQ page. I'm not going to go over how to create an FAQ page, but that there is some content there if you want to go back in and try it yourself. After you've taken a training, it's always a good idea to practice a little bit afterwards, just so you can kind of keep it fresh in your memory, especially if you are not asked to change your department site or, have any work to do on a new D10 site. Just come back in and every couple of days, give yourself some kind of task to do on this training site to kind of keep it fresh on where to find things and how to make different types of content on the site. So let's go ahead and add some articles to our site. If you are on this admin toolbar and we have content, you have content link, the content link there, you can click add content and then go over and select article. Adding an article has kind of the same features as it did before, but I want to show you where some of them are so you can be familiar with them. And then there's some new things that I'm excited to show you as well. So in our training assets folder, there is an articles folder and an article 1 text document. And you can notice that there are lots of other article text documents that you can go in and practice with later if you'd like to. So open up that article 1 text document. The title will be article 1. And then for the text, I just want you to copy these first 2 paragraphs of the article. So it should have 4 paragraphs. So just copy the first 2. And we are on this article content tab. And we're going to go down to this first section. So you can create different sections of your article, which is a new thing that is kind of a cool thing to think about. So in our first section, we're going to add our 2 paragraphs. We have a full WYSIWYG editor here. And then next, click on the media tab. And you can either add a block quote and we can format that in, or add media. So click on add media and then click add media again. And then click choose files. And in our training assets folder in that media library, select Capstone 1 and Capstone 2. So to select multiple items, you might need to hold down your Shift key and then just click open. And let's go ahead and give this some alternative text. So this is student shooting off a rocket, not a rocker. I checked my focal point, looks good. There's no caption. And then the second one is a student, again, doing some kind of soldering or electronics, but we're just going to say student working on a capstone project. And again, double check your focal point. Once I've added alternative text to both images, I can click save. And so what it's telling me now is it says I have 2 selected images and I can only insert one at the time. So that's fine. I know that. And but I did want to just upload both of those images in this one shot because I'm going to use them in different places. This is going to be my thumbnail and this image will go in my second section. So uncheck capstone 2 and we're going to use capstone 1 for our first image. So once you only have one image selected, click insert selected. And then we need to select the location that we're going to put this image and just select the right. We're going to align it to the right. And then after that, we've added some text media. We're going to add our second section to our article. So click add article content. And then what we're going to do is take the next 2 paragraphs and copy that and paste that into the text field. And again, if you wanted to make some links in here, you know, things like that, you could totally do all that. Click click the media tab and then add media. And then click add media again. And this time select that capstone 2 image of the student doing some kind of soldering or whatever. And then click insert selected. And this time for the article media location, let's select bottom. Or you could select left, you know, they could kind of be alternating. All right, so that's all the content for the article. Now let's keep configuring our article. So click on the summary tab. And this is where you can put in a custom summary. And so we're adding our short, pithy summary. Then this is also where you add the thumbnail image. So click add media. And we want to use this capstone 2 image for our thumbnail as well. So click insert selected. So that's for our thumbnail. Now let's go in and fill out the categories and tags. So click on categories and our category is capstone. And I tend to have a naming convention where I capitalize categories. And then on my tags, I have my tags are all lowercase. So science is my first one. Rockets is my second tag. Now click on byline. And then you can just add in your byline. You can add in multiple authors by just putting in a comma and then adding more people. There is also a tab that says link to issue. So if you are creating an online magazine with your article content, you can also show that this article is linked with a specific issue or shows up in a specific issue. So if you clicked on that, you could, you know, write in the issue name right here and link those. And then there are some advanced style options for you to use as well. So click on advanced style options. And this is where you could add an article title background. So you could click on add media and then select an image that would go behind your title. Or you could also add like a caption. So you could sit there and give attribution to the photographer or maybe give some more explanation to the image, or say, it's from CU Boulder Today or something like that. So we're not going to do that on this article though. So we've configured all of our article features. Now I want us to go over to the configuration sidebar, and let's look what we have there. One of the new things that you have is page styles for an article. You can go a traditional mode, which is just all white background. You could go with a dark mode, which is dark background, white text, or you can do zebra striped, which I'm going to select zebra striped because I have those two sections. So you'll be able to distinctly see those two sections with the zebra type. I can also overwrite any site-wide settings for the date and time. So I can say I want none showing, or just the short date, or I can hide the date or something like that. So either select none, leave it at none, or short date, one or the other. And then scheduling options. Again, you could schedule this to be on a certain day. And then if you expand related articles, we don't have enough articles and different categories and things like that set up on this site yet. But if you did want to include related articles, you could do that here. So those are basically all the things to think about when you're configuring an article. So after we've done all that, we need to click Save. And then now we can see our image that's formatted to the right, the one that's below, and our two sections. So with that zebra page styling, and then our category and our two tags. And if you had it hooked to an issue, linked to an issue, that would appear below the tags. So any questions about adding an article? Okay. So let's add a new article, but this time we're going to add an article that is an external article. So open up that external text document. Those are a little different. So those are like if there was an article on the Coloradoan that was maybe highlighting someone in your department or some project or whatever from your department, and you wanted just that to show up in your news feed. You don't want to copy and paste the article in as an article on your site, as that's kind of plagiarism. So you'll need to link to that article. Say, hey, here's a great article, that the Coloradoan did on us. And then you'll link to that content. So we can go back to content, add content, and article. And so this one is entitled Teaching Engineering Students to Make Art. And then we don't have any content for the body of the article because, again, we're linking off. But we can add our own custom summary. So I can do that, and I can click on the Summary tab and paste in a summary. A thumbnail image will show up on our site in our list of articles. So we want to go and add this soap film engineering art image. So click on Add Media and choose Files. And then that image file is in the Articles folder. So select that one, click Open, and give it some alternative text like a colorful soap film. click Save, and Insert selected. And so now that thumbnail has been applied to this article. And then click on Categories. All right, so we've got our art category that we're creating. Click on the Tags tab and start to enter science, and you'll notice that that shows up, so I can select that one. And then the byline, click on that, and we can add our byline. And most importantly, click on that external link, and then we need to paste in our external link. There is no issue to link to, and there are no advanced style options for this. If we wanted to go back and change the date to the original published date, which is like the thing that you should probably do if you were doing this on your site, we could go back in and do that. You would do that by clicking on the authoring information and then just select March 1st, 2019. That's up to you whether you want to do that on your training site or not. I think I'm going to pass today on that and then click Save. And so since you are logged into the site, you're going to see a page that tells you that your visitors are being redirected to this URL, and you'll see the name of the article. Let's create an article list page so we can see what this page looks like when it's in a list, like whether it's in an article list page or an article list block. So we're going to follow that same path. We're going to go to Content, Add Content, but this time we're going to select Article List. So click on Article List and give it a title of news, articles, whatever, latest news, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to call it news. If I wanted to give some introduction to our articles, I could do that in this section. So full WYSIWYG editor. If I wanted to filter this article list page and only show you articles with the capstone category or rockets tag, I could do that. Or I could also exclude, like I don't want to show anything with the rockets tab or, tag or something like that. This is helpful if you just, especially if you're maybe doing issues or something like that. And you create your own category for an issue, or, these are all magazine articles and you only want them to show up in the issues and you don't want them to show up in your just normal news feed or something like that. You can kind of separate them out, and so they'll appear in the different sections of your site that you want them to. We're not going to do that because we just have 2 articles. But we do want to add this to our main menu. So we're going to expand the menu settings, click Provide a Menu Link, accept all the default, and then go over and click Save. So an article list page pulls in articles that have been created on your site. So we started building articles first because if we had made the article list page first, nothing would show up on the page until we created some articles. So there is that relationship of you need to create the article, then the article list page in order for the article list page to have content. So that same relationship exists between the people content type and the people list page. So we're going to move there next. Before I move on, I want to double check and see if there's any questions about adding articles, how to configure articles. You can see that our external article, we can see the thumbnail, the title, and the summary. But if we clicked on read more, we'd be redirected to that Coloradoan article. Any questions? All right, let's keep going then. I encourage you to go back and add some of these other articles, you know, 5, 6, you know, all that kind of stuff too, so that you can actually see how things build and interact with each other on an article list page. So to add a person, we're going to add people first, then a people list page. You can go to content, add content, and select person. I want to show you what happens though if you just click that content tab. So if you just click content, you'll see all of the content on your site, but there is also an add content button. So we can click on that. And here's where we can go in and select our person content type. So click on person. And we'll start filling out the fields for our person. So if you open up that people folder, again, we have lots of content for different people. And that's, again, for you to use to practice with. So we're going to start with person number 1. So this person is William Sanderson. And you can either put in, you know, just start typing in their name, William, and then Sanderson in each one of these fields, first name, last name. But if you did just what I did by just putting in their first and last name and then cleaning it up later, I want you to be mindful if you happen to leave a blank space in front of the person's last name. If you do that, they won't alphabetize correctly. So if you ever see that happening, don't get thrown off. You know exactly what to do. You go in and you check and see if there's a space in front of their last name and just delete it. You can use the pronouns field if you want to. We're going to use it so you can see how it shows up on their personality or their profile page. And then let's fill in the rest of this tab. There are 2 fields on this tab that can be used to filter people by. So that just means you can kind of think about how you want to use these fields and what types of terms you want to use. So for the job type, you know, so there's basic categories like admin, faculty, staff. There are times if you group by job type that this will be displayed. So you want to be able to use the correct capitalization instead of like what they're showing you down here with just lowercase. All right, for a title, you can add multiple titles if you want to. And just, you know, obviously just click remove if you need to remove a title. So for their department, you could use this section in multiple ways. If everybody is in the same department, you could actually just use this for research interests or, you know, different units within your department. We're going to just say that this is like the history, you know, department, and he's in European history. Do it that way. Let's click add media to add a photo. We'll need to upload his photo. So click choose files and then go back over to the media library. And we'll be using the image for person 1. So go ahead and put in their name, not headshot of, photo of, but just their first and last name. You don't want to truncate it and just like, hey, this is Billy, be professional, because this is also where Google will get the name of this person and be directing traffic. And this is how people will show up in search engines. So Google uses this for search engines. So make sure you add their professional name, their first name, last name. Go ahead and change that focal point to the bridge of this person's nose, and then click Save. With that person selected, click Insert Selected. And we have our photo uploaded. Because this is a training site, I name my images to help with training and not so much to showcase SEO. But the best SEO for this person would also be to name the image William Sanderson, his name as well. Just FYI for that. Now that we've filled out the personal tab, let's move on and fill out that contact tab. So here we're going to add his email and a phone number. And so the way things are laid out on the page, the primary link is kind of linked or located with the email and phone number together. And then there is another section with other links. So just be aware of that when you're putting in this link information. So I'm just going to put in the Sanderson website is my primary link. And then just put down just a fake URL just so that the field will be happy. And then for the second one, we're going to, just so you can see how these two are laid out, I'm going to put in their LinkedIn profile as the second other link, the second URL. And here again, you can also add additional URLs if you want to, like their Google Scholar site or academia site or something like that. You can add an address. And then you could also add office hours. Now let's click on the body tab. And copy and paste the content into the body tab. Now this is a full editor. If you have different sections and you're using section headings, you need to format things with the correct headings. So just keep that in mind as you're doing that. You can also click Edit Summary and add a custom summary. So we'll do that. And then click on the Filters tab. And we're going to be using Filter 1 to kind of highlight maybe their research interests. And now that you have configured our person, we're going to scroll down and click Save. And we're going to look at the new layout. So here are their pronouns, their title, the department, their biography or their bio, And then this is where you have their email, phone number, and primary link. And here are the other links. So this is one of the things that I wanted you to see is how they're separated. And then also see that we do have nice little icons if you're using something like, any social media links on their profile page. They'll have that nice little icon there as well. So any questions about adding a profile page or a person page? Okay, we'll keep going. We're going to add person number 2, just so that when we add our people list page, we have more than just one person showing up. So let's open up that person 2 text document and then go over to our site. And any way that you want to get there, content, add content, and person. And so this one will be Hiromi Shin. And why they always want me to put that last name is Kelliger. Gee, go figure. All right. And we're going to put in pronouns she and her. She is going to be a director, just so I can kind of show you some more things about job types in the taxonomy. She's going to have a professor as her title, and she's also going to be a department chair. All right. And then for her department, she is Department of Asia. And then we're going to add media. So choose files. She is this person 2 image. And click open. And then gives her name, full name as the alternative text. And then double check that focal point. Make sure it's like on the bridge of her nose. And then click save. And then insert selected. So let's scroll up and start going to the contact tab. And we'll add our email, our phone number, and then our primary link. And then we'll just scroll down and add an address. Now let's go to that body tab. And again, we'll add some of this lorem ipsum to complete a bio for her. And then as a filter, her research area is the axle age. And now we just scroll down and click save. So now you can see we gave her 2 titles, and they both display on that same line. So you can see both of them there. And then she does not have a secondary link. So you can kind of see how that looks. And then I didn't use a URL, a real URL with a LinkedIn, home address. So it's not going to show that icon. But anyway, We have 2 people, so now we can make a people list page. So again, back over to content, add content, and then all the way down to the people list page. And so this can be, our team, directory, whatever you want to call it. This is, again, where you can add some paragraph content above the list. And then now if you scroll down, we can start to choose how we want this page to be displayed and laid out. So we have 3 choices for a display. The grid display is the most pictorial, but has the least amount of information. So it has, a picture, a name, and maybe department. And the table has a little bit more information. It also has their email and their phone number. And then the list includes that little bio summary. So it has all the information about their name, the email, phone number, and the little bio summary. So I'm going to keep it at list just so we can see all of those different options. And then we can play around with how to group people or how to order them. So grouping would mean like if you only wanted like all the, European history people to show up together, and you wanted all the, other people to show up together, the Asian department to show up together. Or if you wanted to order people by their job type and last name, you could order like all the faculty people would show up together, all the staff people would show up together, and then you could, and they'd all be alphabetical after that. So let's not choose anything right now, and just so we can see what that looks like. Also, if you click on that filters tab, you could filter it as well to say, I only want this particular department to show up. But you can also say, I want to allow visitors to filter by department. Might help people find who they're looking for faster. Or they can also filter by job type. Or they can also filter by that filter number 1, which is their research interest. And we're not using filters 2 or 3. So we've completed the layout, we fixed the filter. Now we need to add this page to our menu. So expand menu settings, click provide a menu link. It should be in that main navigation, and we'll just click save. All right, so here's our 2 people. For this person, we did a custom summary, so you can kind of see how that looks. And for this person, we didn't do anything. So it pulls in like, at least 3 lines of just of the bio itself. So this person is the director, and this they're both professors, and this person is faculty. And so if I wanted this director person to show up first, I could go in and edit how we configured this page. So I want to show you how to do that. You can click on edit. And then if you order them by their job type and their last name, then that Harumi Shin, who's the director, should appear first. So let's cross our fingers and click save. Ah, good. Now she's showing up first and he's showing up second. Next, I want to show you how you can change these filter labels. Oops, I didn't mean to click on you. And to do that, we need to go in the main admin toolbar, click Configuration, CU Boulder Site Settings, and this time go to Content Types. So click on Content Types. And here's where you can see the configurations that you could make for articles. And, here's you just need to read the options. This is enable related articles, and this is how to do the dates. And then this is where you can change those filter labels. So instead of job type, I like to use position. And then for that filter 1, let's say research interest. And so I know David and Shelley, you guys are working on that same site. So maybe designate one person to go ahead and make these changes. And I might have thought about that earlier with some other things I was telling you to do when we were dealing like with content information. But anyway, I'll let you two figure that out. Again, when you make any kind of changes on any one of these tabs, you need to scroll down and click Save Configuration. And then let's click back to site. And so now you can see these labels have been changed. Next, I want to show you, once you start adding some more people, some of these people, I think there's like an assistant director in one of these people, and they have some different job titles and things like that. And it's so you can play around with how to order them. But I also want to show you something else that's really important. So if you click on Structure, Taxonomy, you can click here on Taxonomy and see all of these options, byline, category, all that kind of stuff. Or you can just go directly to that taxonomy term that we want to deal with. And for us right now, we just want to deal with this job type. So click on job type. And so if you start building out a site from scratch and you know what terms you want to use for people, you can start just adding your own terms here. So just go straight to taxonomy and add your terms. So let's add a term. Let's click Add Term. And then we're going to add Assistant Director. And then all we're going to do is we're going to click Save and go to List. If we clicked Save, then we could add another term, but we only want to add just this one. So we're going to click Save and go to List. So this is what I was talking about before. This is the order on that people list page. If you said order by job type and last name, the assistant director would show up first, then the director, then the faculty, because it's displaying alphabetical. But that's not the hierarchy of departments that have directors and assistant directors. The director should show up first. So in order to correct this, you would just drag that director up to the top and save it. And now the director will show up, and then the assistant director, and then the faculty members, and then you could put staff, graduate students, and do your full hierarchy there. Also, maybe the assistant director has a title change, and maybe their title is now assistant to the director. Then you could go back in and edit that if you needed to. And so, or, maybe faculty, had some other term, and, but that would, if you edit it, it will edit that term on all the people that it's applied to. So this is where you want to go if you need to change any terms associated with these people, so that it it just does it in one fell swoop for you, and you don't have to go back in and change it for each person that it affects. If you click on this taxonomy link in the breadcrumbs, here's where you'll find all of the taxonomy terms. And so here's where they are related to categories, which is articles, collections, newsletters, and people. So these are the types of content types that actually have taxonomy terms associated with them. Are there any questions about taxonomy terms? Okay. So we've added people, we've added articles. Let's go back in and now click back to site and go to our home page. What we'd like to do now is we'd like to build out a home page. So in your training assets folder, there is a homepage folder, and there is some homepage text. So we're going to open that up, and we're just simply going to copy that text and click edit on the homepage. Now you can see that default text that was there. We'll select it all and paste over that with our text that we want on the homepage. And then scroll down and click save. All right, so our homepage text has been updated. Now what we want to do is we want to add a hero unit block above our text. And what a hero unit block looks like is it's an image with some text on top of it. And so you can kind of layer the text on top of an image. It looks really nice and it is accessible. So any basic page you can edit this way. Any basic page will have the layout tab. So click on the layout tab. And this is called the layout builder. And this tool allows you to do two things. One, it allows you to lay out your page in different sections. And then also it allows you to preview the content before you save it. So that's a really nice feature. So that if you're just like playing around with colors or different pictures and like, do I like the gold or the tan or the blue as a background best? You can play around with that. And then once you like it, you can save the layout and then it goes live. Okay. So let's look at the layout builder. Here's our homepage text. We've already added that. We want to add a section above that homepage text so we can add that hero block. So click add section. And now we can choose a layout for our section. So we can select one that has one column or multiple columns, or we can select this edge to edge option. The edge to edge option is really good for like the top of a page that you can see. It goes from browser edge to browser edge, no padding. And that's the blocks that work well in this edge to edge setting are the hero unit, the video reveal, or a slider block. So not all blocks will look good in this edge to edge layout. So click edge to edge. That's what we want. And then you simply click add section. So when you do that, then you'll get this little option to add a block in this section. And you'll get used to the fact that anytime you add a section, it'll start to just the way you have your content laid out, it'll start to number them. So this is section 1, where our hero unit's going to be. Section 2 is where our homepage text is. So let's click add block. Now let's look at this sidebar. We have a couple of options in this sidebar. We can look for blocks that are called system blocks. So there's not a lot of stuff on here that you're going to like want to add, right? You know, you're not going to add a breadcrumb block here or site branding, you know, but these are just blocks that we need to create, we need to have in order to build out a site. The only block that you might look for here is one that's called Campus News, and you can search for that in this little search toolbar, which is super, super handy. The other types of blocks that will show up here is if you have what are called reusable blocks. And if your site is being migrated, you will find all the blocks on your site will become reusable blocks, and they will appear here. And so you may want to even start going in and like renaming them so that there's something they're easier for you to find and locate and remember what that content is related to. But they might have already told you that when they were asking you to get your site ready for migration. So this section right here from that filter on down is for system blocks or reusable blocks. Above that, we can see that we can create a content block. This is where you want to create a new block that is going on a specific page. So create content block. And then here is a listing of all the blocks. A lot of them are really, familiar with what you've seen before in the previous WebExpress platform. So let's scroll down to where's our hero unit? Oh, there it is. Hero unit. That's what we want. So click on hero unit. It's going to ask you if you want to create an inline block or a reusable block. So when in doubt, always create an inline block. An inline block is associated with a specific page. So it's just, with one page. And typically blocks are just created and the content kind of just goes with this one page. If the content on that, in that block is going to be used on multiple pages, then you would create a reusable block. There are pros and cons. So an inline block is great because you create that, and then later, if you wanted to make it a reusable block, you can certainly do that. If you have a reusable block and it shows up in that long list and it's harder to find and you want to reuse it again, that's kind of a pain in the butt. That's your option, but you can't change a reusable block back to an inline block. You can't go the other direction with that. So something to think about. That's why I say always start with an inline block. All right, so this is going to be our home page hero for our title. We do not want to display the title, so let's uncheck display title. And then we're just going to add some text and a headline and links just so you can see what they look like. So going to be real exciting. We're just going to call the headline, or you can type in "this is the headline." And then some text. And then just add some kind of link. If you want, you can just go down here and grab that colorado.edu link and just paste it in. Make sure that you get rid of that period at the end, though. And then that way the link will work. And then I'm just going to leave in the link text for the text there. And then, of course, you can click add another item to add multiple links. Next, click on the Design tab. And so you can select a size, large or small. Because we are going in this really edge to edge, this large section, we need a large block. So leave it with large. But you can also see that the small block is great for little narrow areas, things like that. So you can either have a background image or a background color. And we want to add an image. So click Add Media. And we're going to choose our files. So click Choose Files. And you will find the hero block images in that hero block file. And so you can do any one of these three images. I'm going to do Old Main. Going to click Open. And it will give it some alternative text as Old Main on CU Boulder campus. Double check the focal point, but it really is best to use images where the main images is kind of at the center, because it will crop from the center out. And click Save. Then Insert Selected. Now scroll down. For our text alignment, let's do left half. Text color, I think that white will really pop off of that, those dark trees. And then the link color, I also want to match my text, so that will be white. You can add an overlay to improve readability. If you have an image that you're not quite, the white doesn't really work and the black doesn't really work, you can go back in and edit this block and then add the overlay so that it's just more readable. So I want to scroll back up and show you that there is also a Styles tab. All of our blocks have a Styles tab. This is like block styles with our previous version of WebExpress. So if you click on that Styles tab, you can see that you can add an icon, you can change and configure the block headings, you can change the background style to a color, and change the block typography or the content font size. So again, also, be aware of not to go smaller, typically you go larger. So we're not going to do anything with the styles on this block based on its location on the home page. Now let's click Add Block. And so we're still in the preview mode. And so we can see what it looks like. And I like, okay, that looks good. I don't think I need to add the overlay or anything like that. If I did want to go back in and edit this block, I would click on this little pencil icon. If you have a very small screen and this sidebar is in the way, you can just click that X and move it away. Whoops, don't want to do that. So that's easy to get rid of it. So you can kind of find that editing toolbar. Sometimes it will, if your screen is really small, that might get covered up. And then you'll also see that you get Add Block is underneath. The other nice thing about this preview is that now if I want to continue to add other blocks and sections, I can without saving. I can just keep going and add some more blocks and then save at the very end after I like how I have the page layout. So now I want to scroll down below the homepage content and add a section there. So click Add Section. And I want this one to be a 2-column section. So click 2 columns. And then I want to configure my column width to be 2/3, 1/3, 66 by 34. Expand background. We can choose a different background for this. So let's go with light blue, or no, how about light gray? You could also add an image and then like a scroll effect or something like that. Here is your image overlay options. So you can either choose dark or light. And then you can also frame your content with a semi-transparent white, black, and then here is where you can do your spacing. So if you need to move that content over or, rearrange it a little bit. Be careful of this and always check it like on a mobile device. You may not want to change the spacing at all. And then only change it, on a laptop, because you want your content to be centered on a mobile device and not shifted over. So once you've made those selections, click Add Section. And David and Shelly, you guys are going to have to report back to me like how dueling people are adding sections to a site to the same page is going. Because I hadn't thought about that until, a few minutes ago when I was like, a hero unit, you're both adding a hero unit. And so tell me how that goes. And then I can think about that as I do future trainings when we have other people that are working on the same training site. All right, in this section, we want to add some text blocks. So I'm going to click Add Text Block in that left column, the larger column, and create Content Block. And then scroll down to Text Block, create Inline Block. And this will be Text Block 1. We have a document that we can use to copy and paste our content with. So open up this text block section text document in that homepage folder. And for text block 1, just copy this content and paste in. So where it says apply now, that's what we want to create a button with. So I'm going to just cut out that URL because that's what I want to use for apply now. I'm going to select apply now, and I'm just going to add a button over top of that. So I'm going to go up to the editor, and instead of having short codes, we have a new section of the editor, and it's this insert sections where you can insert icons, boxes, accordions, and the very next icon is for inserting a button. So it has one arrow and a bracket. So click on button and paste in that URL for the university. And here's where you can configure that. You can make it a large, regular, or small size button. Let's leave it at regular. You can change the color. We'll just leave it default as blue. And then you can change the size. So it can just be that default size where it wraps around the text, or it could be a full size where it goes from one side of the container to the other. So we're just going to leave it at the default. So we'll click that green check mark to save. And then now if you highlighted the text and it applied the text, that's cool. If you add a button that doesn't apply the text, you'll see a cursor show up. And then you can just type in your text. And when you are working with buttons, in order to change the text or anything, you just click within that text, and then you can start moving your cursor around and, changing the text where you need to. Or if you hover over it and you see that little yellow border around it, then you can click on that and bring back up the formatting options to change the color or the size or the wrap type, the style type. And then just to delete it, I would select it all and then just hit backspace to delete it. So once we've added and configured our block, let's just click Add Block. And now you can see our block has been applied. So let's do that for block number 2 in the right-hand column. So we're going to click Add Block, Create Content Block, and then Text Block. And Inline Block. And then scroll down, and this is going to be Text Block 2. And enable the title. And then just really quickly, we're just going to add some content and save. And then we're going to add another block below that. So click Add Block below block number 2. Create Content Block, Text Block, and Create Inline Block. And so this is going to be block number 3. And then we're just going to copy the content and paste that in. So make sure that the display title is checked. Just pop in some content there and click Add Block. So this is what it will look like. And we have that section background color gray. If you want to go back in and edit like this color for this section, you would click on Configure Section 3. And then we can go back into background and say, hey, I really want that to be light blue, not light gray. And scroll down and click Update. And you're like, oh, okay, I like that better. And, you can go in and save. What I also want to bring to your attention, if you want to remove a section, you would click this X. If you want to keep this block of content, you could drag it somewhere else. So you can see how I'm kind of dragging it. I can drag it anywhere else that I see Add Block. If I remove this, it's going to remove all 3 of the blocks as well. So just be aware of that so that you don't click remove that section and go, hey, wait a minute, I really wanted to keep that content. So if you want to keep it, move it to another section. And then you, like I said, you can drag and move stuff around. You can also, next to the block, you can also click move. And then you can, it kind of makes it all ready. You can, do it this way as well. I like clicking and dragging. Also, you'll notice with any inline block, you can make that block reusable, and you can remove the block from here as well. So let's scroll up to the top and save our layout. And now you can see how our homepage is being laid out in 3 sections. This first section with the hero unit that goes from browser edge to browser edge. our homepage body content, and then a section below that with 3 text blocks in 2 columns. So any questions about this layout builder that we were playing around with?
So this is David. I just have a general question on, I'm assuming the layout builder can be used in lots of different cases, obviously for home and basic pages and stuff. Can it be used, can I put in special blocks and layout in a person page?
So that is a different process. And to do that, you would need to do
I don't necessarily need to know how to do it, just if it is, if it's doable.
It is doable, and you would need to use this block layout tutorial to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
And go ahead.
I was going to say under structure, if you don't see block layout, then you need to contact the web support team and let them know.
Okay, I will play around with that. And
Okay.
Second question, I'm assuming that there's still a way, when we were looking at some of the styles earlier, you know, where you might have an icon and you might have a bigger header, et cetera. I'm assuming you can still save styles into sort of themes and have those as an option you can pick quickly.
We don't
So for
have
consistency.
we don't have that configured into this new platform just yet. But these are all things that, of course, make a difference if you email web support and say, hey, I really liked that feature. Could you, work on including that? So they have documentation of like how many people really want that feature. And then that helps guide their developers, their process on which things they prioritize to develop. And
so I should put in a feature request.
Yeah,
since
put in a feature
that one's
request.
missing. Got it. Thanks.
All right. So finally, what I want to show you is I want to show you how you can change the quote theme of the site. So before you could just kind of select one theme and it would change multiple things. Now you can kind of really fine tune how you want things to look. So you can fine tune this color of the banner. This is the university branding banner. You can configure the site name banner. And then you can also configure this menu field or this menu type. So you can configure all those 3 things to kind of come up with your own unique look to your site. So to do that, you would go to configuration, CU Boulder site settings, appearance, and layout. So configuration, CU Boulder site settings, appearance, and layout. So here is the campus header color, the site header color, and the menu style. So let's go ahead and just kind of play around with that. We can make that header color black. The campus header black, the site header white. And then for the menu styles, those are all, let's see if I can do a find it. So under site appearance, configure menu themes, and then menu theme descriptions. So under menu theme descriptions, here's where you can see a picture of what these menus like. What does light 2 look like, So then you can see what they look like and, some of the features of them. Like if you hover over something, what the selected item looks like. So for now, just pick one of them. I'm it's going to be like Christmas. I don't know what Dark 3 looks like. I haven't memorized them yet. So we'll be surprised together. Here's where you can also configure a sticky menu if that's something that you like on your site. And then also where you can position the secondary menu. So it can be inline. Once you select inline, then you also get a choice of if you want to give that secondary menu a color. And what those colors tend to make it look like, it makes it look like buttons. I'm going to just say above the main navigation. And then here's where you can change the whole site font heading style. So whether it's bold or just normal text. But once you've made those types of choices, just click Save Configuration and then go back to Site. Oh, and it's Christmas. It doesn't look too bad. All right, I've got a black banner for the CU banner. The site banner is gray, and then the menu item is dark. And then you hover over and it's gold. So not too bad. That's one nice thing about our designers. They've made it so you really can't come up with something that's too hideous looking. Well, this is all I have for you today. I am really happy to go over anything that you're like, I didn't learn how to do this and I really need to know. I want somebody to walk me through how to do this or that. Again, in this training assets folder, there's all this, content to play around with, embedding a video, a campus map, an events block, all that kind of stuff. And you would be building out, we have a foundations training site. I didn't have that up in my tab though, but you'll basically be building out that site, and you can kind of check yourself and go, okay, does my site look like that site? And so when you add these different types of blocks, you can check yourself. It's all linked in the Canvas training though. So if you ever want to just sign up for the Canvas training, then you could kind of pick and choose which part of that training that you want to take, if you want to actually be walked through how to do one of these types of things that you find in the training assets folder. But is there anything that anybody would really like me to go over before we close for today?
Hey, Emily, this is Alex. Thanks so much for the presentation.
You're welcome.
I had a question about on some of the pages that are not basic pages, like the list pages. We don't have the option for layout for those. And so I was wondering if there's a way to enable menus on the side of those, or do we have to create basic pages with the list blocks instead?
So let me do this. So if any of these pages are in your menu, what you can do is you can also add another child page. Is that what you're saying? So I'm just going to add that for a menu link that's not kosher, but and then I want to put it under make my directory, save. So is this what you're talking about, adding a menu, a secondary menu?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So that's, you'll see in that main menu, that page 3 is just pulled in. It's a child page. So anytime you create content, what you would do is when you add your menu link, you would just select, like, I want it to be under page 2 or the directory or something like that. That's how you would make that secondary menu, or that what is called sub navigation. Sorry, not secondary menu, but sub navigation. So this is where you'd create that sub navigation. Is that clear?
Yeah, I guess yeah, because I couldn't get to the layout area, so those blocks that got carried over on our site, I'm not seeing them there. So, but that makes a lot of sense to enable the menu there.
Okay,
Thanks.
so this is talking about menu items. Blocks are different. So if you have like a text block with links in it, that's what I was talking about earlier with we have a different way to add blocks to oh wait, we want block layout is the tutorial that you'll want, and I can put that in here in the chat. So what this is this is so you can place blocks on pages like a people list page, an article list page, where those pages don't have the layout builder associated with them. And so basically you have to go in, find the block that you want, and add it. So let me see. Blocks. So this is in migration how-to articles. It would be how to add, oh, not site-wide content. Oh, it doesn't, let me see where it is. All right, go back to the tutorial that I sent you. That's how to do it. I thought they might have that in here, but I might suggest that to them, that they add that. So it's just how to place blocks on content types that don't have that layout builder. If you need help, when your site gets, if it's gotten migrated already, you should have a designated person assigned to you that will help you. And then you can ask that person to help you.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Are there any other questions? I see that. How do you sign up for Canvas training? So on that WebExpress site, so if you go to WebExpress, documentations and tutorials, let's see if it's under D10 support tutorials. I saw it in one of those emails, or let's see, migration overview, training options. Oh, here it is. Enroll in Foundations self-paced course. So I'll send this page out. So this is how you can sign up for that Canvas course. And like I said, you don't actually have to finish it. You can just be able to log in. So you just have another resource for you. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming. Remember to use that help feature if you need it, and reach out to the WebExpress team with any questions after today's training. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks so much. You as well.